In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to replace a carburetor on most of these inexpensive MTD string trimmers. This one happens to be a Murray M2500. This also goes for the Craftsman and Troy-Bilt. Now, one thing you want to make sure is to find your model number. M2500, for example, is not the model number. The item number is your actual model number you will use to look up parts. So we're going to take the air filter off, and before I get started, the part number, in this case, if your carburetor looks like this, is a 753-06190. I will link a kit similar to what I'm using down in the description below. So we're also going to open the tank, not only to release pressure, but make sure there's nothing of fuel left in there. In this case, there wasn't. T25 is all you need, and we're going to zip these two screws out. And these are machine screws, so they go into metal, not plastic. And you can use the impact or a regular T25 hand driver. So we're going to pull this off, and then your whole carburetor is going to fall off. Unhook your throttle cable. And I'm using a Zama fuel line remover tool, but I recommend redoing the fuel lines if you replace the carburetors. So it's easier just to cut the lines. Now, in the carb kit, if it comes with black fuel line, like you will see here in a few minutes, do not use it. It is too big to pass through the tank. This calls for a regular 3/16 fuel line, which I will also link down below. And as you see here, I'm just prying this old rotten fuel line off, and I finally just end up getting a pair of cutters and snip it off, which is what I recommend doing. Alright, and now we're going to get this off, so just give it a whack, and off it comes, and we're on to the next step. Alright, and now we're going to open up our little carburetor kit here, and there's nothing wrong with aftermarket parts. They are pretty good in my opinion, because to buy an OEM carburetor, you're looking at an MSRP of close to $30, and that's just for the carburetor. Now, some of these kits come with the yellow fuel line. That is the correct size. This black fuel line is way too big. Do not drill out your tank ports, because then nothing will seal properly. So now we're going to remove the tank to make this easier. T25 is all you need, once again. And these are plastic thread screws. And I'm talking quietly in case you're wondering, because it's nearly 9 o'clock at night that I'm editing this video. So we're going to wiggle the tank loose, and there's our tank. And we're just going to pull and pry and get rid of these lines. Sometimes they'll pull right through, other times you'll just have to cut them like this and poke them on down through into the tank, and then just shake everything out. And everything will fall right out through the fuel inlet. And I'm pulling out the gas tank, or gas cap. It's late at night. Fuel filter looks gross. We're going to spray out the tank. Now, the little plastic stopper, you don't need to reuse it. Don't reuse it, because it'll cause a world of trouble. So we're going to put some WD-40 over here, which WD-40 is inert. It's not going to hurt anything. And as you see here, I try to put the black line through, and I'll save you all the viewing time. There's no need to see me struggle trying to get that thick line through there. The line that I'm snipping back here right now is the correct size. I will link it down in the description below. You can buy it in like a 10-foot roll, so you have some left over for the next time. And this pulls through so easily, and that's because I put WD-40 on there, which is what I recommend. And you just pull this through. This is going to be the filter line, and we're going to snip it off, and we're going to get the filter that it comes with, which you can use. We're going to push it all the way on here as far as you can get it. And now we're going to drop it down in the tank and get the tank level set, or filter level set, my mistake. And you'll have to adjust this, but you want the filter sitting at the very back corner of the tank, flush on the bottom. Okay, now we're going to put in the return line for the fuel tank, and we're going to skin it back just like we're doing here. And this line only has to go in maybe 3/4 of an inch, way less than that. And this line generally goes in very, very easy. And yeah, you just pull it in and then snip it off like so, and then pull it back to where you have just a little bit remaining like this. And there we go. Now we're ready to reinstall the fuel tank on the trimmer. Alright, and we're going to change this little O-ring here. I didn't record putting the gas tank back on, but it's just 2 screws. And yeah, so this is putting in the new O-ring. And it just snaps in there. It should stay by itself. You don't have to replace it, but if the kit comes with it, why not? And now we're going to hook our lines up to the carburetor, the throttle cable, and we're going to just, do all this preliminary stuff to get it back up and going. We're going to trim the lines back, and that's why I always say leave them long, because you can always take off, but you can't make the lines longer again. So always cut them to the right length, but leave them a little bit long. And this here is a little chart to show how to hook up the lines. Now back to the video. Alright, so we're going to hook this one up to here. That is our filter line. And this is our return line, which we're going to trim back just a little bit more. Like so. We're going to plug it in. And they're supposed to fit tight. And now we're going to put our base gasket on and put the long screws through the airbox into the manifold. And what I'm using here is a little 12-volt impact. You don't want to, hammer these in, just get them, snug. Otherwise you'll strip out the back manifold. And we'll put the air filter in just like this. I'm going to tuck it in there nice and neat. And this trimmer had a price tag on it of $39.99 when it was new. We're going to put some 50-to-1 mix in here. I will link this down below. That is what I use. I just started using it and found it to be pretty good. We're going to put the gas cap in there and tighten it up. A lot of times them caps tend to leak too. Now we're going to hook our throttle cable up. Thought I did it earlier, but we didn't. So in it goes like so. We're going to make sure our lines are right, and if you get them backwards, it's just simple as, reversing them. And do not use split fire plugs or anything other than a DJ8J. So I'm going to put the new spark plug in, and let's test it and see if it's good to go. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. There will be more to come. Please consider liking and subscribing. And if you click in the upper left, you can see my latest video before this. And if you click the upper right corner, you might like that video as well. Thank you. Bye.